Hi everyone, it's Jenny. Today I wanted to talk about exit strategies, and I want them to be safe for you. So one of the things that I will often tell my students is to really get into some somersaults and to some cartwheels prior to your headstand and handstand practices. And primarily because a very awesome and safe way for you to exit out of headstand, Shirshasana, or tripod headstand is just to take a somersault, just to roll out of the thing. Now, if you've ever taken gymnastics classes, you know full well that a somersault means a literal curl of the chin in. And I'm just gonna turn this way so that you can see my back. Then I'm gonna curl everything into a little itty bitty ball in order to roll head over heels to get into the somersault motion. So I think I've seen a number of students try the somersault and actually just kind of flatten their back and then land on their back. And I'd rather that folks not do that. So keep it safe. Make sure you're curled up into a little itty bitty ball. It might be a slightly alarming because it is rather fast once you're in that little itty bitty ball because your center of gravity really starts to fly up and over your shoulders. But just keep in mind that this is much safer than landing on your back, okay? So let's try a couple of somersaults just to see how it goes. And come on over to your mat. And you can even pretend like you're going into a tripod headstand and take a somersault, and maybe even pretend like you're going into a Shirshasana headstand and take a somersault, okay? So let's try from tripod headstand first. Just going ahead, taking the head to the floor, and then I'm gonna from here just curl in and just start to somersault my way out of this. So here I go, curl in and somersault, okay? So again, it's rather fast. Don't be alarmed if your whole kind of essence is a little dizzy from that, but I'm gonna recommend that you try it a couple times. So I'm gonna try it again just for fun. Again, practicing like I'm going into tripod headstand, and I just need to bail, okay? And I bail through the tuck and roll. So here I go, tripod, bail, tuck and roll, okay? So definitely getting a little bit of momentum from that for sure. I'm gonna try from the Shirshasana method. So Shirshasana, of course, is here. And what we would do in Shirshasana to come out of that is to actually take the hands and open the hands apart so that you can tuck and roll. It doesn't feel very good to tuck and roll over knuckles. So I'm gonna recommend that if you feel yourself bailing, take your hands apart and just be really strong in your conviction to tuck and roll, okay? So here it is, Shirshasana, tuck and roll. I'm already here. And I'm going to take my hands apart. And my hands immediately knew what to do. My hands just immediately went to the floor and there I was. So maybe practice those things a couple of times, okay? Especially if you're practicing Shirshasanas or headstands in the middle of the room. It's much better to have a safe exit strategy, okay? The next exit strategy that we're gonna work on is the Pincha Mayurasana exit strategy. So the forearm stand exit strategy that I'm gonna recommend is actually a weird cartwheel, okay? So in order to understand your cartwheel, you have to be able to play with your cartwheels first. So you can come on up to the top edge of your mat and actually just play with your cartwheels a few times just so you remember how to do them. I think you all kind of know that my ceiling is pretty low in this apartment, so I'm probably not gonna kick my legs completely straight up today, but that's okay. The idea though is to understand that generally in a cartwheel, right, because we actually wanna do a cartwheel, is that one leg is forward, the other leg is back. The leg that's forward is the kicking leg. The leg that's back is the leading leg, okay? Now the same thing will be said with the hands. There's one hand down that comes closest to the front foot, and there's another hand that reaches forward, okay? The hand that's closest to the front foot is the grounding hand. The other hand is kind of like a leading ground, okay? So we have ground and then ground. So this is really important in your kind of handstand exit strategies as well, because in handstands we're here, and then we have to actually pick up that second leading hand in order to cartwheel out of the handstand. So we can cover that as well. But for right now, Pincha Mayurasana has the same sort of idea, but let's take our cartwheels, just a couple, just to remember, kicking leg, leading leg, grounding hands, to come on over and just do it again, just so you can get the feel of the whole tumbling effect of kick, kick, up and over, okay? So here's another piece to this. In order to practice Pincha Mayurasana cartwheels, you're actually on your forearms, right? So how do you practice cartwheels on your forearms? This is hard, right? So my recommendation is to come down to the forearms, and just practice cartwheels this way. And it's gonna be kind of weird, but practice picking up your second arm, and if you're not clear about what your second arm is, go back to a regular cartwheel. Your second arm will be the second leading hand that comes forward, okay? Again, this is gonna be kind of weird, but it will help. So, again, kick up, and then kind of cartwheel out to the side, okay? Kick it up, cartwheel out to the side, okay? So, if you're in Pincha Mayurasana and you need to cartwheel out, that's the action. So I'm gonna play with it. Here we go. I'm gonna fall out deliberately. I'm gonna kick it up and then cartwheel it out to the side, okay? And you might practice that a few times. A deliberate, kick it up and cartwheel out to the side. Okay, so Pincha Mayurasana kicks, Pincha Mayurasana cartwheels, really fun, especially in the grass, especially on a nice thick yoga mat. Handstand cartwheels, all the same stuff. I'm gonna practice the same technique, kicking up into handstand and taking my second leading hand, or my second grounding hand out to the side to cartwheel out. So deliberately, once again, here I go. Kick it up and cartwheel out. Kick it up and cartwheel out, okay? Here I go, one more time. Kick it up and cartwheel out, okay? So, just being really deliberate about your exit strategies. And it is kind of a nice thing to do to actually practice your exit strategies before going into a headstand practice or a Pincha Mayurasana practice or a handstand practice, just so you can kind of rewire what to do, okay? I think one of the worst things that we can do is not have an exit strategy. So I often used to, and this is a story, I used to tell my daughter when she would climb trees when she was little, I was like, it's great if you climb a tree, but what's your exit strategy? And she would sit there at the base of the tree and go, okay, in order for me to climb up this way, I have to come down this way. And she would tell me all the things that she would do in order to come down. And I would say, okay, you can climb that tree. So I'm gonna do the same for you. Please make sure you have an exit strategy first and then kick up. All right, thanks everyone so much for being here. Let me know how it goes, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Namaste.